There's a lot of videos about how to change water impellers on these things. It's no different from this one, but what I wanted to show with the long shaft version is the linkage, which you got to disconnect, is in here. And when you drop the unit, it shows up. But with the long shaft unit, if you take just the lower unit up, it's up here. So you have to take the extension off too. But you're going to have to take the extension off the lower unit as well, because the housing for the water pump is here. So these bolts can be tricky because you can't get in it with it's too big. So it's off to the angle, and you'll round the top. You can't get in it with a little guy like this, skinny and short. The skinny and fat one, you can get down here, but then if it's long, you can get it with the, if it's a long, you're gonna, the ratchet's gonna hit here and you're gonna run out of clearance. So you need the short one for the bottom. For the top, you put it in here and it's angled and it just doesn't go in. So what I find was best was to come at it with a long extension, and when you're here, the angle isn't as much and you can grip the whole bolt. So if you come at it with an angle like this, it's good. The problem is when you get to this one, the fin winds up down here, so the angle here decreases, and if the bolt's on real tight, you'll round the top. And if that's the case, what I suggest is getting one of these. It's a mini breaker bar. It's a 1/4-inch breaker bar instead of the ratchet. The head is tiny, so it enables you to squeeze in there flat like this and at least break the bolt, so then you can get a ratchet on it and spin it off. Okay, so that was the little bit of a headache that I had getting these out, because a regular ratchet doesn't work. And even an open-ended box wrench, wouldn't fit. It didn't give you any turning radius. The minute you go to turn the thing, it would bump up against the thing here, and it wouldn't turn the bolt. So that is what worked for me. So I'm going to pop these off. As you guys should know by now, you drop this lower unit, it'll reveal the shift linkage, and then you take a 3/8 nuts or a flathead screwdriver to disconnect the bolt, and the lower unit will come all the way out. Also, when you pull the lower unit, do yourself a favor, put it in forward, because when you pull the lower unit down, it's going to force it into forward anyway. So put it in forward. Once the bolts are out, either way, it wouldn't matter. And then it'll drop, and then, like I said, you'll reveal that shift linkage, which is here, and that should be a 3/8. If it's not a 3/8, it's a 7/16. Usually they have a slit for a screwdriver, which this one does as well. And then once you drop the lower unit, like I said, it's just that one screw. It was 3/8. And then you take the extension off, you'll get left with this housing. And the 4 bolts come off. You slide the cup up, and then you'll reveal your impeller. I'm really curious to see what this looks like, so I'm going to do that now. This video is all over YouTube, so just in case you wanted to see it a 15th time, trying to up the subscribers to 1,000. I follow what Brandon's Garage does. He's really thorough with a lot of stuff, and it's pretty cool. He does this for a living, and I like what he uses. So I put the plate. The part number goes down, and I put the aviation gasket sealer on the bottom. This stuff. This is what again all Brandon uses. Aviation Forma gasket sealant 80019, and then he goes above and beyond to put the gasket sealing compound around the O-ring and outside the seal. That's the thing. And, blah 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 blah. Coat it, as they say. Coat it. I wasn't gonna coat it. A lot of people put the impeller in the cup and then line everything up. I also follow Mr. Ben Ditmar, who is a pretty avid professional boat motor repairman. Don't know if he has a business or not, but he just has video upon video upon video of the repairs. And he does what I like. Him and Brandon do the same thing where they spin the pump onto the thing. I just got to get my key and add some assembly lube or grease. Don't need a lot of it, just a scooch. Just a little bit to get it to stick. To get it to stand up so that we can take our impeller, which is of course missing. There she is. Brand new impeller. Find the notch within it. Slide it on down. And line it up and push it on. like so. Only difference, a lot of people will grease the cup and everything. Ben Ditmar does it dry. I'm going to do it dry as well. Personal preference, I guess. Not a lot of people do this. Garage, what's his name? Brandon does this. And again, he's super thorough, so if he does it, I want to do it. You don't have to do it. He uses the black stuff. RTV. He uses black RTV for the bottom of the, just a thin coat. We're going to coat the bottom with a thin coat of black. Thin. Nothing cray-craze. Yeah, I said cray-craze. Whatever. I'm not going to go nuts with it, because again, you don't need it. I don't think you need it. But you want to do what the better people are doing. Okay, now that it's covered, coated, and then when you get to the water pump, you just push down and spin. And when doing that, when you spin it, the impeller will spin underneath and fit into the cup. And from there, we can put our screws in. I was gonna reseal this, but when I took the shifter out, shift linkage, it came out and popped, made like a hissing sound, almost like the contents was under pressure and then opened up. So I think the seal's good, and then the oil on the shaft was quite literally perfect oil color. So I think I'm good there. What we'll have to do though is drain it. I did have it run into the barrel to test it, so it's not like if there was water in there it would seep to the bottom. Most likely it would have mixed when I put it in gear. So it should have been milky, but it came out. It was blue as blue. So it tells me this is sealed properly. I unfortunately don't have the seal tester. It's the one thing I don't own. That might be next. I have a leak down tester I know people have made. Okay. Snug, proper, up. Only thing left is the O-ring, which is in the kit. There are a couple O-rings. I guess match the size. And then last thing, I'm gonna put some grease on there. If you get the Evinrude kit, it comes with Molly lube. Like I said, I bought an aftermarket cheapie. Just don't get any grease on the top, only on the side here, because when you go to put it in, it won't fit. That's it. One new installed water pump. The instructions say that this is for the long shaft, so I'm working on the long shaft. This is the proper grommet for the long shaft in this year. This is an 82. When reassembling, like I was telling you earlier, I used the long extension with the small 3/8 sockets to get these first couple, and then that last one, you get the small socket with like a little mini breaker bar, and it fits right in there perfect. You tighten everything down. When I was lining everything up with the long shaft, best bet is it's tough because you can't see you got to attach the extension to the lower unit first in order to get the shift connector connected. So what I did was I tried to keep everything close, make sure the water tube is in the grommet, and then attached one bolt for the extension, and then I got everything close enough, and I found it easier to flip the whole unit upside down. Make sure the gear's in forward. That'll push the shifter far up or down, depending if it's upside down or whatever. And then just make sure the gear itself is down all the way. It should reach. Put that bolt in first. Once that bolt's in, then you can wiggle this on. And like I said, if you flip it upside down, it'll fall into place. And if it doesn't, you just pull the starter rope and it will spin it that little bit to align the splines, and then eventually it'll get closer and closer, and then when you're got no gap, you just tighten everything down. Okay, so the lower unit's got a new pump in it. We're gonna test it out maybe tomorrow, see if we're pumping water. All right, thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, give it a subscribe. Appreciate you.